I think people have missed the point of the Nintendo Switch Lite. Hey guys, I'm K947 aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to a new edition of Wolfkeen's Thoughts. So, the Nintendo Switch Lite was just announced, and let's face it, it looks like an interesting idea at the very least, but I know some people are kind of dismissing it as just a thing for kids or otherwise, or they're killing the only good thing the Switch has, which is being able to switch from portable play to TV play. And I wanted to make this video to at least give my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch Lite and kind of talk about why I feel like some people have kind of missed the point of the Nintendo Switch Lite. So to at least catch you up to speed, there'll be a link in the description for the reveal trailer, but just to summarize things, the Nintendo Switch Lite is meant to be a smaller version of the Nintendo Switch. It can't be plugged into the TV, but it can be used for portable play, and it sports a smaller monitor, about 5.5 inches if I'm not mistaken. It sports a little bit of a longer battery life, but not by much, about an extra 30 minutes. And it basically has all the features you would expect from the normal Switch, except of course that the Joy-Cons can't be detached, but it comes with a traditional D-pad in exchange for that. Everything about the Nintendo Switch Lite is the same as the regular Nintendo Switch. It's just missing the features of being able to connect it into your TV and various other things of that nature. It's meant to be a portable Switch, basically, like one that you mainly use for travel. And personally speaking, I think this is a great idea because I know there are plenty of people that do travel a lot and they use the Nintendo Switch for that kind of thing. So, and not to mention this kind of being like a purely portable Switch, it could actually help people who are on the fence about buying the Switch. Maybe they didn't want to buy it because they didn't really see themselves using it in the TV, or maybe because the price was just not within their range. Well, this one might entice them more, especially since like it's down to $200. Now, some people have said that $200 is a bit of a hard sell, but I don't think that's true whatsoever. Think about it this way, the Joy-Cons are about $80, and with the Joy-Cons in the normal Switch, you kind of got two controllers. Along with that, you had the dock, the power, and of course the HDMI. I'm guessing the Switch Lite will come with a power source to help you charge it, but of course it doesn't need an HDMI, it doesn't need a dock, and it doesn't need the Joy-Cons because they're built into the console. So $200 sounds relatively reasonable when you really think about it, and I could see people that were on the fence with the Nintendo Switch buying the Nintendo Switch Lite because of the cheaper price range. Granted, it does suck a little that you can't plug it into the TV, but again, this brings me back to my other point, which is many people honestly prefer to play the Nintendo Switch in portable mode. In fact, one of the people of the Wolf podcast, Florengy, aka Cole, she mostly plays her Switch in portable mode. I never hear her talk about her using the Switch on the TV, and it's very rare. Same thing with my other friend, DM3000, aka Dean. He mostly plays the Switch on the TV. Okay, he mostly plays the Switch portably, and that's mostly because he does go to work and such like that, but he also does play on the TV when he can. The Switch Lite would appeal to people like this who travel a lot and don't really need to use a TV to play their console, but still would like to play some games like Doom, Wolfenstein, and some of the like first-party Nintendo games like Smash Bros, Mario, Mario Odyssey and stuff like that. I think the Switch Lite does appeal to those kind of people that only want to play this portably and don't really see themselves ever using it in TV mode. This is kind of why I feel like some people are missing the point, because I've seen people try to say that this is a more kid-friendly Switch, kind of like how people said that the 2DS was meant to be a kid-friendly 3DS. To an extent, you're not wrong with the 2DS argument, because they did market it back then for kids. But as you could tell in the trailer, which I'll put some footage of right now, they were very much marketing this towards young adults to even older adults, and they were mostly marketing this towards people who tend to be out and about a lot. Like, they have things to do, they go to class, they hang out with friends and otherwise. The thing about the Switch is that even though the Switch Lite won't be able to connect to the TV, it still retains one of its biggest features, of which is being able to play a lot of these big name games on the go and being able to play with friends around you. Because let's face it, as shown in the trailer, even if you can't take off the controllers to let another player play with you, you could still connect locally with your Switch Lite to play with other people, whether it's Smash Bros, whether it's Mario Kart, whether it's a lot of different games. And honestly, I see that as a really cool thing because it still means that the Switch Lite players are able to take advantage of the positives, the biggest things of the regular Switch. It's an interesting concept to say the least, and I feel like people need to really think more deeply on this kind of stuff. I know I'm kind of being that guy, and I do apologize, but I kind of feel like some people missed the point on this one, and this is why I wanted to make this video and talk about it. I think the Switch Lite is an interesting idea, and we'll have to wait and see if it does well, and if I'm right about there being like a large, and we'll have to see if I'm right if that large demographic of people that mostly play portably will get in on this one. I think they will, especially considering there's going to be a lot more games coming out pretty soon, and like I said, if you're someone who travels a lot, who works a lot, or otherwise, being able to take games like, well, let's face it, like Fire Emblem Three Houses, LA Noire, and stuff like that with you on the go, it basically allows you to be like, hey, I'm on the bus, let's knock out a few things in this case real quick, or hey, I'm on break, let's go ahead and do a quick thing. Like, that's the one thing that Switch Lite definitely helps with, and not to mention its size being smaller makes it much easier for you to put it away without the need of a carrying case. I'm pretty sure there will be carrying cases for it, obviously, to protect it, but if you're one of those people who don't have a carrying case, you should be solid. The only thing I worry about, of course, is the Joy-Con, or at least the sticks themselves, because they've always had drift problems and they tend to be too small for people's hands. Thankfully, you can still use a Pro Controller on the Switch Lite on its own, but the one problem that I see is that it doesn't have a kickstand, which I really hope that there's a third-party kickstand out there that people sell so people with Switch Lites can put their thing on a kickstand and then use a Pro Controller if they're on the go. I know that adds a little more hassle, but it's that kind of extra option and convenience that I'm talking about. But with that said, there's not really much else I need to add on to when it comes to the Switch Lite, if I'm being honest. I think it's an interesting concept, and it makes me curious to see what other kinds of Switch models that they'll be releasing in the future for the Nintendo Switch. We've got the regular Switch, we've got the Switch Lite. I'm holding out hope for a Pro version of the Switch. And no, to those people that say that the Switch Pro version should be 4K, 60 FPS, and all this stuff, I think you're asking a little bit too much from a console that honestly doesn't have the same kind of power as the PS4 and Xbox One. As long as it can run at 1080 and 60 frames and be able to hold that consistently and have more power behind it, I'll be fine with a Switch Pro being like that. But only time will tell, and hey, if we do get a Switch Pro and they somehow do put 4K in there, you're allowed to come back to this video and tell me how wrong I am. And with that said, what do you think about my thoughts of the Switch Lite? Do you have your own points that you want to talk about, disagree with me in any kind of way? Go ahead and leave your comments down below and we'll discuss it in the comment section. I'm going to be trying my best to do a few more Wolfkeen's thoughts in the future, especially in this style, because it's a lot easier for me to do, and not to mention I have a lot of fun doing this kind of a simple kind of thing. Not to mention it allows me to stick to my vlog style videos, which it's just simple for me. It's simple, fun, and it allows me to get my thoughts out, which is what I like to do on this channel. But with that said, till next time guys, I'm Keen47, aka Wolfkeen. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time guys, take care.